This evening I'm going to interview two lean practitioners, Dr. Tim Hill from London, Ontario, and Damien Morris, Operations Director of the Leading Edge Group. May I start with you, Tim? People have referred to lean as a set of tools and techniques.
Lean success is about 80% culture change and it's 20% tools and techniques. When I've watched people who train to do the tools only, they don't incur sustainability in their lean endeavors. When they work on changing the culture from the top down and the bottom up, they've almost always been able to sustain it.
And in your experiences I think you explained to me earlier that you have a lot of experience of working in the Far East, specifically in Japan
Yeah.
and Malaysia. What have they been doing differently?
I work in Canada, I've worked in the States, I've worked all throughout the Far East, and what I find is that there's generally a better acceptance for continuous improvement there than there is back home in North America. So they tend to embrace Kaizen more particularly, they embrace continuous improvement more particularly, and they're okay with having things such as smaller amounts of executive compensation, they're okay with continuous improvement, and generally, there seems to be, throughout the countries of the Far East, this belief that every day you've got to do a little better to improve yourself. So I see the same thing in Germany, I see the same thing in Japan, and we're starting to see the same thing in North America now.
Okay. And Damien, how important, Tim mentioned earlier, culture change. How, from your experiences in GE and in Telefonica O2, how important is culture change?
I think, Joe, culture change is really what it's all about. It's about changing the way you do your work today to an entirely new way of doing your work tomorrow. Okay, so when we go to work in the morning, we do our day job, we follow our processes, we deliver what's required of those processes, but we never really question, can we do it better? And that, I think, is the question that everybody should come to work with.
Can you give us some examples of how to change a culture in an organisation?
Well, I think training an awareness is a key piece of that, Joe. For me, it's about we bring new concepts and new words into play as part of a lean deployment. And I think everybody needs to become aware of what those words are, how they're used, and how they relate to the toolkit that you can deploy to deliver change. So, I think overall for me, it's really about, getting used to that new language and then applying that new language in your day job.
In that culture change, are you mainly specifically talking about senior management?
I think it's really from, as Tim said, from the top down and from the bottom up. It's really both. You must have that commitment and that buy-in at the top of the tree to make it happen. And equally, when the people, I guess, at the front line see that, they automatically buy in to that commitment as well. And overall, as the two groups, if you like, move closer together, that's where you can see some real success.